Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty bold. We've got a source claiming, well, almost unbelievable returns on digital ads.
Yeah, they're talking beast mode ROAS.
Beast mode ROAS, specifically targeting like 50 times your ad spend back.
Yeah.
Our mission is to really unpack how they claim this works. Is it just hype, or is there something real here?
We should probably clarify the metric right off the bat. The source kind of mixes ROI and ROAS, return on investment, return on ad spend.
Right.
But what we're really zeroing in on here is ROAS. It's simpler. You put in $1 in ads, how many dollars in revenue come back?
So like 40x ROAS means $1 in, $40 out.
Exactly. That's the kind of number we're looking at. 40, 50, even 60 times return. That's the benchmark they're setting.
And the really interesting part is they frame it as, what was it, a new reality, new possibility?
Yeah, they're basically saying, look, if you're not getting these kinds of results, you're playing the game wrong, which is quite a statement.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the situation. What's the typical experience for most people running, say, Facebook or Google Ads?
Well, according to this source, the typical experience is losing money.
Ouch.
Or, barely breaking even after pouring tons of time and cash into testing. It's often just a cycle of spending and then having to pull back.
And they have a reason why most fail. Right.
They do. They point to what they call a failure trinity. It's bad strategy, bad creative, and bad execution.
The unholy trinity of ad failure.
Pretty much. They argue if one of those is off, your money's just feeding the platform, not your business. That's apparently the story for like 98% of advertisers out there.
Wow. And to really get how huge their claim is, we need context. What's considered good in the real world?
That's a great point. Most advertisers, after months of tweaking and testing.
Yeah, trial and error.
Right. They'd be absolutely thrilled, like dancing with joy over getting a steady 2x ROAS, $2 back for every dollar spent.
And that 2x is often just covering the cost of goods and maybe some overhead. It's survival, not exactly thriving.
Exactly, survival mode. But this source, they're telling you to forget 2x entirely.
So throw that benchmark out the window.
Completely. They call their approach the crescendo. It's about aiming way higher. Think 10x, 40x, even 60x ROAS.
Okay, that's not just moving the goalposts, that's putting them on a different planet. A geometric shift, as you said.
It really is, but it implies a certain kind of situation, a certain context, which we definitely need to explore when we look at their proof.
Right, because talk is cheap. Let's get into the evidence. Where do they show these beast mode numbers actually happening? This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, so they offer two main case studies. The first one is pretty jaw-dropping. It's a 61x ROAS case study using meta ads, so Facebook and Instagram.
61 times return.
61 times. This was over about 8 months, Jan 1st to September 4th, 2025.
Okay, what are the raw numbers? Spend versus revenue.
The total ad spend was $8,335.92.
Just over $8,000.
Yep. And the revenue generated, $509,009.61.
Whoa, okay, hold on. $500,000 from less than $8,500 in ad spend.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of number that makes you skeptical immediately. For anyone who knows marketing, 61x ROAS is almost unheard of, especially for standard products online.
Mm-hmm.
What's the catch? What aren't they saying?
Well, there's a very important detail in the source. They mentioned 262 offline purchases contributing to that revenue.
Oh, okay. Offline purchases.
Right. When you see huge ROAS like this combined with offline purchases, it strongly suggests we're not talking about selling, $20 T-shirts here.
No, this has got to be a high-ticket item, something expensive.
Almost certainly. Think specialized services, maybe custom manufacturing, luxury goods, something where the average order value, the AOV, is really high, like thousands of dollars per sale.
So if the average sale is, say, $2,000?
Then those 262 sales alone get you over $500,000. The math works if the AOV is substantial.
So the magic isn't just the ads. It's the ads combined with a product that has a really high price point and probably good margins, too.
Precisely. The ads are leveraging the inherent value of the offer. If you break it down monthly, the numbers also make sense in that context. They spend about $926 a month on ads.
Which is pretty low, actually.
Very low. And that generated over $56,000 in sales each month. That gives you the 61x ROAS. It's extreme leverage, but yeah, the product has to support it.
Okay, that makes more sense. Now, what about the second case study, the Google Ads one?
Right, the 44x ROAS case study on Google. Similar time frame. late 2024 into 2025.
Still a massive number, 44x.
Okay.
What was the spend and return there?
The spend was higher here, $18,300, and that generated $809,000 in conversion value.
Okay, almost $1 million in value from 18K spend. Still incredible.
Definitely. And they tracked 778 conversions. But what jumped out at me in this one was a different metric they highlighted.
Which was?
The click-through rate, the CTR.
Ah, okay. What was the CTR?
They reported an 18.72% CTR.
18%. Okay, for people maybe less familiar, what's a good CTR on Google search normally?
Well, if you're doing really well, maybe 4%, 5%, sometimes a bit higher for branded terms, but 18.72%, that's astronomical.
So what does that tell you? How do you get a CTR that high?
It usually means one of two things. Either your targeting is laser-focused on people who are desperately searching for exactly what you offer right then and there.
Super high intent, bottom of the funnel stuff.
Exactly. Or you're leveraging really strong existing brand recognition. People see your name, they trust it, they click it, almost regardless of the rest of the ad.
So it's not just clever ad copy. It's hitting the right audience at the perfect moment, possibly with a known brand or an incredibly specific niche offer.
Yeah, I think that's key. These results aren't just about ad optimization skills in isolation. It's about picking the right campaigns, the right products, where the audience is basically pre-sold or has extremely high intent. It's strategy and product fit.
Okay, that connects nicely to how they actually structure their deals. If they're confident they can find these high-leverage spots, their pricing should reflect that, right? Let's break down the mechanics of the model. How do they actually work with clients?
Right, how we work. And this part is crucial because it explains their whole skin-in-the-game philosophy. It's very different from a typical agency.
How so?
First, there's an optional setup fee, $1,000 one time. But that's only if the client needs them to build a dedicated conversion landing page. If you already have one that works, you skip that.
Okay, optional setup. Then what?
Then you get into the monthly commitment, and it's structured for a minimum of 3 months initially. It has 2 parts per month.
Okay.
Part 1 is a $1,000 monthly admin fee. This covers their time, management, reporting, expertise, basically keeping the lights on for your campaign.
Standard enough. What's part 2?
Part 2 is the actual ad budget. The client commits $1,000 per month per platform, so $1K for Google, $1K for Meta if you're doing both.
And critically, that $1,000 ad budget, that goes directly to Google or Meta, right? The provider isn't marking that up.
Correct. That's super important. The client pays Google or Meta directly from their own account. The agency or provider here isn't touching the ad capital itself.
So the provider's guaranteed income, initially at least, is just that $1,000 admin fee per month.
Exactly. Which, as the source itself points out, is basically a token fee. It barely covers their operational costs and expertise. It's not where they expect to make their real profit.
Okay, so if not the admin fee, where do they make their money? This must be the incentive part.
This is the engine, the 10% revenue share. They take a 10% cut of all the revenue generated by the ads they manage.
10% of the top line. Okay, let's unpack that. What does that 10% mean for the provider, and maybe more importantly, for the client's actual profit?
This is where the model gets really interesting and aligns incentives. Think about it from the client side. Let's say the provider hits a 10x ROAS.
Okay, a $1,000 ad spend generates $10,000 revenue.
Right. The provider takes their 10% cut of that $10 revenue, which is $1,000.
Got it.
So the client's total cost for that $10 revenue is the $1,000 they spend on ads, plus the $1,000 performance fee to the provider. Total cost, $2,000.
Okay, $2K cost for $10 revenue.
Now let's assume the client's product has decent margins, say 50% gross margin before ad costs. That $10,000 revenue represents $5,000 in gross profit. Subtract the $2,000 total ad performance cost.
And the client pockets $3,000 profit before counting the separate $1,000 admin fee. Still profitable.
Right. But look at it from the provider side. At 10x ROAS, their $1,000 revenue share exactly matches the client's ad spend. Their only real profit in that scenario is the $1,000 admin fee.
So 10x ROAS is basically the break-even point for the provider's effort to be worthwhile, beyond just covering costs with the admin fee.
Precisely. If they don't deliver significantly more than 10x ROAS, all their expertise and effort isn't really getting paid much through the performance model. They need to hit those 20x, 40x, 60x numbers. That's where their 10% cut becomes substantial.
So the model forces them to aim high. It de-risks it slightly for the client because the provider only makes serious money if the client makes serious money way beyond just covering cost.
Exactly. It creates this powerful alignment. They're not just a vendor billing hours, they're incentivized like a partner who needs massive results to get paid well.
Okay, that structure makes the high targets seem more logical, if still ambitious. Now, they don't promise 60x on day one, right? They have a forecast.
Correct. Despite the headline numbers, they do provide a managing expectations forecast. It shows a gradual ramp up, which is important. It acknowledges that optimization takes time.
Let's walk through that. Using the standard 1K admin fee and $1K ad spend per month, what do they project?
So, month one, they set expectations relatively low, a 2x to 5x ROAS.
Realistic starting point, learning phase.
Exactly. This is where they're figuring things out, overcoming that bad strategy phase most people get stuck in. Test and creative, dialing in targeting.
Month two.
Month two, they expect a jump to 5x to 10x ROS. Things are starting to click. Strategy, creative, execution beginning to align.
Getting close to that provider break-even point we talked about.
Right. Then month three, the target is 10x to 20x ROAS. Now we're firmly in the zone where the 10% revenue share starts to be meaningful for the provider and the client is seeing significant returns.
And they project out to month four.
Yes, month four aims for 20x to 30x ROAS. The key thing here is the timeline. They're basically saying, give us 90 days, that initial 3-month commitment, and we aim to get you well past that 10x mark and into truly significant profitability.
So they're betting they can make the model work for both sides within about a quarter. They're willing to potentially under-earn in the first month or two because they're confident in the later results.
That seems to be the signal, yes. Confidence in their system hitting its stride quickly.
Okay, beyond the numbers in the model, what about proof from actual clients? Do they share testimonials?
They do. And the testimonials often highlight different aspects, not just the raw ROAS. Well, there's one from Kathleen Riley at Presence, MX. She talks about trust, planning to refer them, valuing the partnership even before she was fully ready to scale her marketing. That speaks volumes about the relationship and perceived expertise.
So it's not just a numbers transaction for her.
Seems not. Then there's Dr. Liz West in Texas. Her feedback focuses on the process. She was impressed by excellent, clear, prompt, and professional communication, how easy it was to book meetings.
Which is important, right? If you're running complex campaigns aiming for high ROAS, the back-end communication and project management have to be smooth.
Absolutely essential. You can't have chaos behind the scenes if you're aiming for peak performance.
Any testimonials about concrete business results?
Yes, Michelle Arrow from Cedar and Moss in Oregon. She says she was absolutely delighted and specifically notes the support has been incredibly effective in attracting new clients. And the punchline. Her team ended up being busy.
Which is the ultimate goal, isn't it? Filling the pipeline, keeping the business busy with good clients?
Exactly. That's the bottom line validation.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, what's the main takeaway here? Are these 40x, 60x ROAS numbers real, achievable?
I think the synthesis is that these extreme numbers aren't presented as like the average outcome for any business. They seem to be positioned as the potential outcome when specific conditions are met.
Conditions like
having a high margin, high AOV product or service to begin with, then combining that with truly optimized strategy, creative, and execution, fixing that failure trinity. And finally, using a financial model like their 10% rev share, that absolutely demands high performance.
So it's a specific recipe, not just run better ads.
Right. It's about escaping that common trap of just losing money or settling for that bare minimum 2x ROAS. It requires a different approach, maybe a different kind of partnership.
It definitely feels like a strategic decision, maybe even a leap of faith for the client, but one cushioned by that performance model. Which brings us to our final thought for you, the listener. We started with the source blaming common failure on bad strategy, bad creative, bad execution. Think about your own marketing right now. If you are stuck around that 2x ROAS mark, or maybe even worse.
Which is where many people are.
Exactly. You really have to ask, how much of your current ad spend is essentially being wasted because one of those three pillars, strategy, creative, or execution, is weak? And maybe the more provocative question is, if a solution exists where a partner only gets paid well when they deliver 10x, 20x, or even 40x returns, what needs to change in your business or your offer right now to even make that kind of high-performance partnership a possibility? What's that first small shift away from the 2x reality towards maybe that 10x potential?